Hello everybody, welcome to the introduction of CSS, and we finally are done from the introduction of HTML. In the first lesson of introduction to CSS, we're gonna take what is the meaning of CSS. Let's start with starting. Okay, CSS is a cascading. It is cascading style sheets, and CSS describes the visual view of anything that views on the web page, and it visualizes and formats its properties, for example the color, the font, and etc. Okay, you can also search on Google for the meaning of CSS for better understanding. If you search for CSS, here you can find that cascading style sheets. Cascading style sheets is a style sheet language. It's a style sheet language used for describing the presentation of a document written in a markup language, like the HTML that we took. And CSS concerned cornerstone technology of the World Wide Web alongside HTML and JavaScript. Okay, let's take some information. For example, when it was released on December 17, 1996, before 24 years ago, and it was developed by World Wide Web Consortium, 𝒩ℯ𝓍𝓉. And the type of format is style sheet language, the container for style rules of HTML elements. When you have an image element or text element, the CSS can format it and edit how it will be visualized and looks, and it contained by HTML document. It puts style rules for HTML element. For example, you have text in an HTML. You put style rules. For example, I want this text to be in this font, like sans serif. I want it to be cursive. I want it to be bold. I want to be, and a lot of things. Okay, and what is meant by CSS? Cascading style sheet, as we know. And what are three types? There's three ways: internal and external and inline styles. And what are the basics? Here, for example, styling the body, changing the page color, different type of selector. Different type of selector will take it near in this course. So it is like the ID, how CSS can select an element in HTML using ID, using a class. There is three ways. So that was all for today, and see you in the next video. We're gonna start with CSS. Hello everybody, welcome to a new video in the course of full stack of development. Today we will take the developer tools. I mean the developer tools in your browser. Means how you can access the developer tools. Okay, so first you can open any browser. For example, let's start with Microsoft Edge. Okay, here, for example, let's search for Twitter. Let's open Twitter. Okay, now can you just discover the elements here? For example, here we have text. This is an element. Here text also, and here text also. Here we have buttons. Here also text, and here is an element for writing the phone, email, or username. And here we have the password, and we have a hyperlink, and we have login. Okay, how we can see the code or open first the developer tools? There's two ways in Microsoft Edge. You can right click here and choose inspect, or you can click here and go to more tools, go to developer tools, and here it will welcome you. You need to go here up, you will search, go elements, Yeah, now you are sure. Okay, well, you want to see the code of each one. For example, I want to see the code for it to sign up. I click inspect and I get the code, and when I put my mouse on it, it will say where is it's for what. It was with class. Okay, I want to know where is this text. Where is the code of this text? I click right inspect. Here I can see the text the same as here. For example, I can edit it. Welcome to Twitter, for example. Welcome to Twitter. Okay, now it's edited. Try to do this, it will be so fun. For example, I want to here change, for example, discover here. I want to here discover, for example, here. What we're gonna do, or example, I want to delete these hyperlinks. How can I do this? You can just a minute. Just select them, right click here and click inspect. Okay, so here example, I want to remove this brand resources. Now it's deleted. For example, here I want to delete, example, here advertising, I want to delete the marketing, example, like this. You can delete. For example, I want to delete the settings. Click inspect, delete the settings, or example, say home or discover. Let's say I want to home, so here I get here home. Okay, I want to remove this copyright. Right click, and here copyright, I can edit. Boy, for example, kids of the future. Okay, so now let's go to another browser. Okay, the second one is Google Chrome. Okay, for example, let's open another website. Let's say Facebook. Just a minute. Here's Facebook. Okay, so here's Facebook. I want the main page. So here's Facebook. So here in Google Chrome, the same thing. Right click here and inspect, or here go to more tool and developer tools. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so here sometimes it opens immediately on console. You must go to elements if the last time you used console. Okay, and you don't understand any of these things. Okay, now here, for example, this is an element for example for text, entering text, and here also button, for example, hypertext, here also button, and a lot of things. Okay, let's for example make this text, I don't want it to be strong. I click inspect, I find it strong, or maybe it is. Okay, so just let's resize this. Okay, so here it was by CSS. Okay, not by the HTML. Okay, for example, I want to edit this text. Okay, so here what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna check this text, go inspect. Oops, sorry. So here, example, I want to edit the create a page. I want to say, for example, create a business. Here, business. Okay, so here, create a business account. Business account. Okay, so here we got create a business account, but the hyperlink is still as the same. Okay, how we can edit it? Here you can find the link, but why there is no HTTPS? Because it's on the server itself. so there is no HTTPS. It just checks and go to pages, a folder in the same file or folder, I mean, then it goes to pages. Okay, for example, let's edit the link. Example, I want this link to open in Facebook. For example, I want to open Facebook again. So how I can do this? I can just here and edit HTML. Okay, so here I can make HTTPS, and here I can make www.facebook.com. okay, now it's edited, so I can open it and it will reopen on Facebook. Okay, for the other browsers I will put in the description below for the other browsers. For Google, for Safari and Firefox, how to open it, but I don't have them in my computer, so I just mention in the description how to open developer tools in it. Okay, so that was all of today, and see you in the next video. Hello everybody, welcome to a new video. Today we'll talk about text to trees. For example, let's open, for example, Visual Studio Code. Okay, for example, so let's return, for example, to, okay, for example, let's check this file. Okay, this HTML or this file or this document is made of what? For example, brackets, made of spaces, made of text, made of letters, made of a lot of things. Okay, let's, for example, okay, let's say that any user opened your website and he found this in front of him. He found this. Okay, he found this in front of him. Okay, ask yourself a question. Why not all of them are all of things that you wrote in HTML is not appearing in when you open it? Means, for example, also example here, one was not in the HTML. From where it come? And the OL is here, but why it's not here? HTML is changing the HTML to a view, into a picture that the user can understand, mixed with CSS that visualize how an element in HTML will be viewed. I mean that it's the HTML and CSS is making a picture that the user can understand. For example, let's open, for example, let's say Wikipedia. Okay, let's open Wikipedia. Okay, so here, okay, this for this picture, how you get this picture or this view? HTML is mixed with CSS to make a picture that the user, or a view that the user can understand. Okay, so that was all for today, and see you in the next video. Hello everybody, welcome to a new episode in my course. Today we're gonna take the text to trees, but the part number 2. Okay, so I will open Visual Studio Code. You don't need to open it. If you want, you can. Okay, so let's say that we opened Visual Studio Code, and for example we created just a small list. For example, here let's create just a small list. Okay, so here, so let's say, for example, here Apple, and here I want to make, for example, okay, so for example I here want to write banana. Okay, and next one I want to write, for example, orange. Okay, now let's see what will happen. Okay, so here we got apple, banana, orange. Okay, so here in this list it is same as the, okay, just a minute. Here we have this list. We started an ordered list and it has list li and li. Okay, and each li has a text. For example, first li, for example here, check the whiteboard on the right. See the whiteboard. Okay, so here for example, let's say the blue is the list. So here inside it we'll write the O L. Okay, and this OL is made up of three things because we have three li. Here we have, if we just do like this, we have li. Okay, just a minute, like this. Okay, here we have li, here we have also li, and here we have li. Okay, and this li is still branching. They are divided. Yes or no? So here we have a box, another box. Oops. Here, for example, here we'll draw three boxes. Okay, or three squares. Okay, so here the first li has apple. Okay, and the second li has banana. The second li has banana, and the last one is orange. Okay, so this is like a tree structure. Means OL is divided to 3 li. Each li has a text. For example, the first one is A, is divided to is A, and the li second li is B, and the third li is O. So that was the second part of text to tree, and see you in the next video. Hello everybody, welcome to a new video in my course. Today we're gonna learn about the styling HTML directly. Okay, let's open for example Visual Studio Code, and here we have a list. Yeah, let's say that I want to make apple, banana, orange colored color to green, for example, or I want to change the font. Okay, so this will be so hard because we will gonna repeat a lot of times. I mean that we will put the same we'll rewrite the same command for each one, and like this, like here. So here we repeated the command, but might be so tricky. Why? Because for example here we put a mistake. It will be so hard to find this mistake. It will take a lot of time because you repeated it. So today we will learn how to use CSS. Okay, so first thing, all of them uses li. Yeah, this letter li. Okay, so we need to open a CSS, and this CSS, it will be linked to the HTML, so we can edit them. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so before we start, we just need to link the HTML to CSS. So the HTML will take the style rules from the CSS. Okay, before we do this, we need to make the CSS. How we can do it? Create a new file. For example, let's name it by style.css. Okay, and now go to the where is it? The HTML. Okay, and before everything you need to use the head. Okay, you need to use the head and open the head and write this command: link brackets link space rel equal quotation mark style sheet quotation mark space href equal quotation mark, and you can do it like this if okay. And I have style, not styles. Okay, so you must be sure from the name of the file. Just this, it will be for each one, it will be different. Okay, and it's better to make it in the same folder that the HTML is in it. Okay, because it's better than to write the full path. Okay, so now it's linked. To check, just we follow the link, it opened the CSS. Now what we're gonna do is wanna make a rule that will make, for example, the color blue. Okay, so here in each one we have li, so here we're gonna write, sorry everybody, I mean we will do it in HTML. So here in HTML, how we can do it, so here we're gonna open style, can open style and close it and click enter. So here we have li, so here we'll make li, we'll open like this and write the color to be green, or let's say blue, and then we put here to separate from each one. Okay, now let's go live and check our live server. Hooray, we got it. Okay, so let's, for example, change each one. For example, I want li to be color blue. For example, I want li to be, for example, font size. Okay, for example, font size, yeah, this one. And to, for example, to be XX large. Okay, so here, for example, I want the banana to be XX large, so here I'm gonna write li2. Okay, and here the last thing I want to make, for example, the orange to be in orange color. So for example, I want to make li4, or let's change this to ba. Okay, so here I want to write ba for banana. Okay, so here I want to write or, means orange. Okay, I'll open like this, and here I'm gonna write the color. I want the color to be orange because it's orange, and we close like this, and here change to or, and here or. I'm gonna go live again, and we got it. Here we make the banana to be like this, and we made this to be like this, but it is not as a list. Why? Because it is, if you want to make it inside the UL, you must use li. So you might just make them one. We'll learn after how to make this. Okay, but for example, you can make all the font, everything using font family in one style, in one rule, in one thing. Okay, for example, here li. Okay, so I'm gonna open, for example, the font family, and for example, Canberra. Okay, and then I'm gonna refresh my page, and I got it in this font. Okay, so here, how do I separate them? Using this one. It's simple. Okay, now here, let's, for example, make also the example, I want the example, the font dash style, I want it to be oblique. Okay, so I'm gonna refresh, and I got it like this. Okay, so that was the lesson for today, and see you in the next video. Hello everybody, welcome to a new video. Today we'll talk about the CSS syntax. Okay, here we'll take the CSS syntax. Here we have the rule of the CSS. We have the selector and the declaration block. Okay, for example, I will show you some code and we will discuss it together now. Okay, so here we have the picture. Okay, so here, for example, the li is the selector. Here is a selector, and this, the color green, is the declaration block. Not only the color green might be the declaration block. For example, we can have color green, and then we put also font family, and then we put, for example, the font style, and all of these that, like, there are the rules for these selectors are called the declaration block. So let's complete into our lesson. Okay, so now here we have another picture, this picture. Okay, so here we have first the rule of CSS. First we start with the selector, then we start with these, and then we write our declaration block, then we put rewrite the same symbol. Here in this example here we have the weird is the selector and it's a class. And here the first one means that any paragraph will have the width 50 rule, and anything in the HTML connected to the class attribute dot weird will have the color purple, and here font size will be the large. Let me give you another example. Okay, so here we have another picture. Here we have another thing called the declaration rules. These are the rules, but without the symbol. Means we said this was the declaration block, and this is the rule itself without any symbol. This is the rule, but not all the rules. Means you can't say that this declaration rule is width 50, and for example you say the font family. No, that's not correct. The correct is the one rule is one, means just rule is this color purple is a rule. This is one rule, and this font family size a large, this is one rule. So in this class attribute we have two rules. Okay, now we have more to know. Okay, so here we have another picture. Here we have the property and the value. The property, for example, here we have the color is the property. For example, here we have the font size is a property. Here we have the width is a property. The font family is a property. All of these are properties. And the value that describes its value, for example, that will come after the property is the value. For example, the width after it came 50, so the 50 is the value. Or say we can say that the width, its value will be 50. Okay, here we have the color. The value of the color to be purple. For example, here we have on the size, the value of it will be large. And that was all for today, and see you in the next video. Bye bye. Hello everybody, welcome to a new episode in my course. Today I'm gonna learn about the selectors in CSS. There is a lot of selectors in CSS actually, but today I'm gonna take some of them. Okay, so let's get started. So first thing, I will have some screenshots, some images that we would do. Okay, so here we have this image. Okay, this screenshot. Here we have the body. Matches the body element, applies to the whole document. For example, here we have a document. And we make the body font family cursive. Means all the elements in the body, all the text in the body will be cursive in the body. Means matches the body element, applies to the whole document, everything inside the body. Okay, let's get another and so body is an structure, body element. You can use element. So here we have another screenshot. Just a minute. Okay, so here we have another screenshot. Here we go. So here we can use type selector, like for example p color blue. That means that everything in all the paragraphs in your HTML will be in color blue. Okay, so here we have em. Em means emphasis, means any letter that is what mentioned to be italic. Also the font size of it will be large. Okay, so let's try in Visual Studio Code. We can try doing that rule. So you can just divide the screen. Okay, so here we can go to test.html. Okay, so here we can divide our divide our screen. Okay, so here we can, for example, make an example. I want to here make emphasis, important note. Okay, now if I just go live, open the server, it will be emphasized. Okay, here, let me close this. Okay, so let's return and make it also what font size large, but without typing more things with what em. So what we're gonna do, write it before the em, because the code reads from the first line till down. So we start the style. Okay, style. Okay, so here we have the em font dash size. Okay, so here we have it large. Okay, now after we are done, we can refresh and we find it larger and emphasized, but in the text we didn't write anything more. Okay, let's try doing this in CSS. Okay, so here we can write em. Let's try. For example, I want to make it in font dash size large. Okay, and I link it to the where's the test file? Yeah, I link it to it. So let's try refreshing. Also the same, you can do it from HTML or you can do it on CSS. Both ways can work properly. So that was the lesson for today, and see you in the next video, inshallah. Hello everybody, welcome to a new episode in my course. Today we're gonna talk about the selectors, the ID and the class. Okay, so let's start with learning more about the class. Okay, so I have a screenshot that we're gonna study it. Here we have the selectors. Okay, here p class equal introduction. This is a paragraph with the class. Okay, so here p class equal follow up. This has a different class. Okay, so here how we use class to select and make rules. Okay, first, what is class? Class is a group of things that have the same characteristic. Okay, first, how we can make a class and put in it some rules. So here in the CSS we put a dot and write the name of the class, for example introduction, then we open the symbol, then we write our rules, then we close, and then when we want to make it on an element, we open, for example here we make a paragraph, we open p and we put the class equal introduction with quotation marks, and then we close, and here after we wrote what we want, we close. Okay, so let's try doing this. So we can open Visual Studio Code. So I will tell you how. Example, here we have the test and the HTML. So here I want to open this. I want to open in another one. Example, here I want. Okay, so here we have the linked. It's linked. Okay, so here we have. I have my own class. So first, let's create our class. So we start with a dot and then the name of the class. For example, here introduction, and then I open brackets, and for example I want to make the font dash style. I want to make it, for example, inherit. Okay, then I want to make another thing that I want to make it cursive. Okay, font cursive, font dash family. I want to make it, for example, cursive. Okay, and I want to make the font, for example, dash size. I want to make it X large. Okay, then I will return to the file here, and I would make a paragraph. I would just no need to make a paragraph. For example, you can make some what text, and here you write in. You can link it. How we can do this? Here you can make an P and the introduction, for example, introduction. Okay, P class equal introduction. Okay, and then what we're gonna do, close, and then or then from our text we would here write. Okay, so here, for example, I wanna write example, going to the park. Okay, now here I want to write another thing, so here I write P just P again. Okay, now here I want to make another one, so here I would write open a P, and here I would create a new class for the body, or for the other. For example, I want to write in idea. Okay, so here I would open and make the font dash, for example, font dash size, I want it to be medium, for example. Then the font family, I want, for example, the font display, or I want to make the font family, I want, for example, this one. Okay, I want to, for example, also want to make my font dash weight bolder. Okay, now I can do here another text here, and I put class, mention the class to be idea, and then close. Here I gonna, for example, write it is a good idea to go to the park and smell some fresh air. Okay, now we can go live and check if the classes worked or no. It worked properly. Here this was with the introduction. Here this was this class. So here, going to the park, it is a good idea to go to the park and smell some fresh air. Okay, so now we'll take the ID. So let's get started with the ID. Okay, now let's talk about the ID. Here's the ID. The ID, we use an ID when there is only one element to apply. Okay, so let's get some example for ID. Okay, so here we have the screenshot. Here we have the selectors and ID. Here we have the div ID. So it's only for one thing. Okay, so for example here we link the ID for an element in HTML. So write brackets div ID equal main dash article. Okay, and CSS make puppies gill. Okay, and here div. Okay, and here how we make the ID. So here in the CSS we make hashtag and then we write the ID. In the class we write dot, and here we write the rules. Okay, so for example let's try. So for example I want the orange to be cursive. Oh, I want to be the orange to be cursive. Okay, so here I would go to style.css. So here I would just here put a hashtag. An example, I would write fruit orange, for example, orange. So here I would write my rules now. The font dash family, I want it cursive. Now here I want, for example, color orange. Example, I want the font dash style dash style inherit. Okay, so here I would make text, and here I will make div ID equals to orange. Okay, then I would close it. Then I would write here, for example, and eat some fresh orange from the trees. Okay, now after we wrote this, let's check if it's working or no. Wow, yeah. Okay, so let's try, we make it another thing. Okay, so here I will make div ID equal, example, here I want to write orange. Try. It's still working, but usually we use it for one thing. Why? Because you put just different rules, because you want each one different one, so we use it for only one. Okay, but it works. So that was all for and now we have just a little bit thing how you can combine the means. For example, when you make the combine the selectors, means for example you want make more than selector and they have the same rule. For example, I can make here dot again. Okay, so here I would make, for example, intro. Okay, I just make it intro. I go to web, the test, and here, for example, I want to change this to intro and see if it works or no. You can, but let's check if it is correct or no. No, it's not correct. How you do this, I'll tell you now. You can search on Google also how to combine classes in CSS, how we can combine them. Okay, so here you make, for example, here hashtag dot header, and here, for example, without spaces, you make without space. Example here like this, and you can just refresh still doesn't work. I will tell you the real way now. Okay, so let's start with combining the IDs, I mean the elements first. Okay, so here for example we have the first one. Okay, so how we do, for example, the emphasis and the, for example, the strong, I want to make them always to be font dash family cursive. I mean, sorry, the font family cursive. Okay, now the EM and strong will be cursive. For example, here I want to make here EM I am italic and for example cursive. Okay, now the strong here strong I am bold and cursive. Okay, so we would try, and here we got it. So here this was I'm italic and cursive, this is correct, and I'm bold and cursive, this is correct. No, I'm bold and cursive, yeah, it's cursive. Okay, so now let's know how we can combine the classes. Okay, but there is no way to do the classes in this course, so that was all for today, and see you in the next video inshallah. Hello programmers, and welcome to a new video on my channel. Today we will gonna learn about the units and the blocks in the CSS. Okay, so let's for example open Google. Can you open developer tools? You could. Right click and go and click inspect. Here we have developer tools. I want you to go here and go to computed. Here we will learn all of these. This is the margin. This is the margin, and here is the border, and this is the padding, and this is the content. Okay, we will learn units in CSS. Units in CSS, you'll know them. CSS units. So blocks in CSS. CSS layout. No, not this one. Border. Okay, we'll know them now. So here we have the margin, and in the CSS the 1 inch is equal to, in CSS we use pixels, and in 1 centi there is about 96 pixels. 1 inch equal 96 pixels, around 96. Okay, here are their names. In the innermost we have the content. Here we have the padding. Here we have the border, and here we have the margin. Okay, do you know that the newer phones and the newer devices have smaller pixels than the old devices? Do you know that they have smaller size of pixels? So that means that there are more pixels, because you need the full screen pixels, and about 37.8 pixels equal about 1 centimeter. Okay, and that was our lesson for today. It was just easy knowing the units in CSS, and we have the pixel unit in CSS. And that's all for today, and meet me in the next episode. Hello everybody, welcome to a new episode in my course. Today this episode is the last episode of the introduction to CSS. Okay, today we're gonna talk about the Flexbox. For example, let's say that you have opened Twitter. Open Twitter. You open the page source. Okay, now for example, let's minimize your website. For example, let's say that you have the browser is small. It's minimized. You cannot read everything, anything. Okay, like for example, you open Notepad. For example, an article. Let's for example copy an article. We have an article. For example, let's copy it. Use for example, I want COVID-19 article. Okay, so here for example I have this article. I want to copy this article. Here I would copy all of this, and here I would open and paste. So here let's say that, just a minute, here let's say that you have the notepad is small, so you cannot read everything. Yeah, there is a letter that not appear very well. Okay, let's say that you open the word wrap. Now you can read all the letters. All letters are appearing. Coronavirus. Yes or no? This is also like here in the page source of Twitter. If you open Twitter, you cannot see anything because your browser is small. You turn on line wrap, you can see everything. This is also in CSS. It's called Flexbox. That it would wrap the line so it will not keep completing. No, it will be down. Means it what can know how your screen, if you maximize, if it's small, it can wrap it. So let's know how to wrap in CSS. Okay, so first let's open Visual Studio Code, and I have a small small website, so I can create a folder and I can make Flex, so we work easily and without any interruption. Okay, so here I'll make a new file. For example, here flexbox.css, and here another one, flexbox.html. Okay, so here I'll paste the HTML code, and here I'll paste the CSS code. Okay, so here's the CSS code. So just let me tell you what is this. Okay, so here where is the Flexbox? Let's see. Okay, so this, I'll go live. Here it's just like this. Okay, so here just I made some boxes. Okay, so here I made a box. Okay, and here red. So here the box, I will put in each box. Okay, so here I make one for red, so I will mention this, so I can put here, see here I put box for the text, and here red for the color. So okay, so how I make the color? I pick background dash color equal red or green or yellow as you want. Okay, and also here the box, this is for the text. Okay, and the flex wrap, we must make it the value, it will be wrap, so it will be on, and display is flex. You must do all these two. Okay, so let's test it what it does. So here I mean, for example, minimize. So I want to minimize the for example, I want to make it 50 pixel, or I meant to make it bigger. For example, 250 pixel, and here 250 pixel. Okay, so here see it. Just a minute. For example, let's say that I have it a wide website, a wide page, but here, okay, so here if I for example, this is Okay, so I'll show you now. Okay, so let's try just. Okay, so here I would just try resizing them like this. So here, what I must do is here write the container, the display, sorry, here display equal flex. Okay, now here see it. Also I need to make the flex dash wrap is wrap like this. So here see it wraps. Okay, so everything it shrinks it. Example, let's say that here to fit the screen it tries to shrink it. For example, if I make it like this, example, it tries to fit the screen. Okay, so what you need to do is make display flex and flex dash wrap. Okay, let's try flex dash shrink equal flex. Okay, so here it would okay, so here it tries to reset. Okay, so maybe I will try to solve the code and return. Okay, here what happened, there's no any problem, but see if I delete the display flex. Okay, so I cannot see them. Just let me reset. I can see them, but not everything is what, for example, the container is not full. So how I'd solve this problem? I would make the display flex. So now they are what they are each to each other, so I can see them full. So that was the lesson for today, and we ended from the introduction to CSS, and goodbye, and see you in the introduction to Python and then more Python.